are, pretty much one done. I'll give it probably a second coat and possibly a third. Yeah, much better. Would be better to powder coat it, but as I said, I don't want to push the wheel bearing out and have to pay for probably for a new wheel bearing, which I think they're 40 quid for the rears and 60 for the front. So just by covering that up, it's yeah, it's a pretty good job. So there we go. Pretty good. Again, save spending money on getting new ones. As you can see, that's the seals are brand new on it. So yeah, save buying a new one. Silicone paint, make it look a bit better. Further inspection, it's clear that these two drop links aren't a pair. Where this one does look like it was pretty new and painted green, this one certainly is not new. It's all perished and you can see water's actually managed to get in there, so they're useless. So after speaking to the owners, someone on the owners club, they suggested they're about 50 to 60 pounds for a Ford one. However, I've gone with this brand, which are usually £30, but they got them on offer, as you can see here. Okay, so finally managed to give the garage a clear out. Trying to organise a few bits and pieces at the moment. It's not organised very well, but it's given me a little bit of room. What I've done is I've started stacking up all the stuff that I need to take to the shop: plasters, powder coaters. There'll be two colours, there'll be black and silver. So I need to make sure I specify which ones. I'm about to push out in a minute these bushes in here. They look like they're in good order, so I'm going to try and push them out so I get these included to be sent off. And then I'm going to start making my way around the engine. There's quite a few bits on here I'd like to do. The bell housing and the gearbox I'm going to clean up myself and paint myself. However, like the end plate here, you can't really see, it's a bit dark. Let's see if we can turn it around. The supercharger custom bracket, I'm going to take that off, get that done in silver. Take the starter motor off, clean that up. All the plastics, take these off. The cam cover, I'm going to take that off, get that powder coated as well. Same with the engine points, the engine lifting points. It's worth noting actually, I have actually bought a engine stand from eBay. It was only £40, so not too bad at all. If I just turn the engine around here, I'm going to take off these pulleys and again get them sent for powder coating. The dispenser, I've had a new water pump etc on it, so I'll check all that. Take off the covers, give all these a clean. That looks brand new. Take all these off, get those done as well. Also, I've never removed one of these, but it's the middle section. Turn it around again so you can actually see. It's the middle section that connects the drive shaft to the yeah, so I need to make my way up. Gearbox mount, take that off, see if we can get this pushed out and get that sent away. And yeah, I need to figure out how to get this off. It doesn't look too complicated. Yeah, and then get the engine stripped down, start treating it and getting it painted and cleaned up. So yeah, cracking on again. So yeah, I'll leave you for now, and I'll set you up on time lapse so you can see me taking some of these parts off. I might start with the gearbox actually. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, some progress. Starter motor's out. Put the bolts in it so I can keep a reference of what goes where. The drive shaft, middle section. The bolts and the actual homemade bracket for the supercharger. Another bracket, I'm not entirely sure that was for, but I can figure that out from the old footage. Those are the gearbox bolts. There's it from the side there. These three held in the gearbox mount. And now I've thought I'd taken all the bolts out the side of the gearbox, and this should be able to rattle free, but I'm having some difficulty getting it apart, so I think I might have missed one. So I'm just going to go back over this again and make sure that I've got all the bolts out, and then I can continue stripping down the other bits as I mentioned in the last video. So yeah, let's crack on. So it's off, finally. There was one bolt I missed, which was the reason why it wouldn't pull apart. But once I'd removed that bolt, it came off quite straightforward. To me, let's have just turn on this round. That looks like a brand new clutch. I'll check with Warren, the last owner, but I'm pretty confident that's brand new. So what to update you on? So unfortunately, I took off all this one pulley, that's off the water pump, so I'll get that powder coated. As I was taking off, or trying to take off this tensioner here, you can probably just see it's quite dark, the bolt sheared off, which is a bit frustrating, but I got one of the pulleys off there, so I'll need a new tensioner. Hopefully they're not too expensive. Next thing to take off is this whole unit here. Sorry, it's a bit dark, it's really frustrating that the GoPro still hasn't arrived, but there we go, we'll work with what we got. Yes, the power steering pump, all this needs to come off here. So that'll be the next thing to take off. It's rather late now, to be honest, and I'm going to call it a night, but really happy with what I've managed to take off. I'm going to leave little notes and labels on where all the bolts go, particularly with the engine when putting it back together. It's vital to get all of these correctly fitted on there. What else did I take off? The oil cooler, this little part here, this section which sends the lines down to the front mounted intercooler, also an oil cooler to cool the oil so before it recirculates back in the engine. So yeah, still quite a lot more to strip down off it. That's the new water pump, etc. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm quite happy what I've managed to achieve tonight. Hopefully we'll receive the engine stand on Friday, so hopefully over the weekend on Sunday I'll be able to get it up in the engine stand, fully strip it down and see where we're at. Hopefully over the weekend as well I'll manage to achieve a bit more, and hopefully throughout the week I'll be able to do little bits here and there and give you more content. Still need to fully strip down the where are they? They're the front shocks. Still in two minds what to do about the supercharger. I'll probably lightly sand it down and spray it silver and hammerite, just so we got a bit of consistency. There's the humongous pile of bolts that will need to go to zinc coating. I need to go through all of them and organise them, which I'll do at some point. I'll probably put that on time lapse for you. But yeah, pretty successful evening. The garage is a little bit tidier. Sorted out a pile of stuff ready to be powder coated. Gearbox off the engine, plenty of parts stripped off, and a bit more organised. There's one thing that I have brought into the kitchen, and that is the Say-Belt seat belts. I'm going to soak them in hot soapy water and give them a good clean, so they should come up pretty much like new, as well as the helmet bag, which I'll probably put in the washing machine. And the other thing to note is the wiring loom. I'm going to speak to Warren, again the previous owner, about where because he's actually labelled up a certain section of it. So I just need to find out why he'd got up to that point and he finished. What's with the remaining part? Do I need all that? I'm guessing I do. I assume that he's just unravelled it so he could rewire it or rewrap it in the yellow labels. That is another engine one, which I'll just do in my office at some point, no doubt I'll share with you. And the same with this one. This is the fuse box, the engine bay fuse box. As you can see, that is a nightmare. But all of these tubes used to be black, so it's a little bit frustrating that they're obviously yellow when I want to put more black, but again, it'll just be something I'll have to plod along with and go through slowly. Hopefully I can get those black coatings off eBay for relatively cheap. But yeah, that's about it for now. Yeah, there we go. One final thing to mention, working my way through the knuckle, getting all the paint off it. I've been advised that the Nitromorse that you have these days is nowhere near as strong as the older stuff. I think that's due to just health and safety issues. So it seems to take a lot more coats than I remember in the past, because it's only just rattle can spray paint. There's the first one after its first coat. It's looking pretty good. I think the second and third coat that's going to look great. And I think I've previously shown you these before. The dry shafts. So yeah, lots of little bits coming together now. So yeah, it's great. Catch you soon.